So did you hear about Pennsylvania, what they're planning on doing?
Mm-mm.
Legislation they're trying to push up for vote in the November elections on the ballot box is to eliminate property tax.
Mm-hmm.
The property tax obviously being something that's used to support the public school system and everything.
Yep.
And in my video that I shot, breakup letter with public education,
Mm-hmm.
I actually went over deeper details than what the WFMZ around here posted in regards to the benefits of doing away with property tax, which is, it's really abundant, right? I just want to quickly go over this because I think it's a very important topic. I think that people should be getting out and voting in the November elections anyway, but I feel that this is a really awesome opportunity to do this.
Yep.
There are states without a property tax, okay, and I'll get into the benefits of that. But in regards to a property tax paying school tax, paying for the schools and everything, one thing to bear in mind is that you can't take away the school, that kind of school funding, without replacing it with something else. So the theory involved would then be to increase other types of sales taxes, that things that are sold within Pennsylvania, that is allocated towards education. So there would be a possibility to possibly increase the sales tax by 2% and allocate that directly towards education. Now, the neat thing about that, if you're talking about that fiscal avenue alone, is the fact that you can take that allocation and do it on a per student basis. Actually take that lump sum, see how many students there are in the state, and divvy it up according to those students to push into the schools. I'll go a little further than that in a second. But the neat thing about it too, it's not only Pennsylvanians that are spending money in Pennsylvania, okay? So anybody that's traveling through will spend money in Pennsylvania, and that money will go towards our kids' education. On top of that, it actually incentivizes our governor and elected officials to give incentives to businesses to set up shop here in Pennsylvania, okay? Because if we can give tax breaks to the businesses, knowing that it will attract consumers in various different venues of commerce, that will attract those people that will then end up spending more money that will go towards our educational system. Now, on a personal basis, why is it important that we don't pay property taxes? Number one, first and foremost, the dream and vision for America is to own your own property and make your way. You pay off your mortgage, fantastic. You own your house, congratulations. You stop paying your property tax, guess what? You're losing that house. All right? You don't truly own your property. So the fantastic thing about this is it truly should open a door to allow you to actually own your property. I think that's fantastic. Number two, really important as well. Senior citizens and people without kids will not end up paying a school tax that they're not utilizing themselves. People, it sucks, okay? A couple of years ago when I was on the school board, we had a decision to make on, because of Obamacare being instituted, the people that were hired under the assumption that they were not getting health care would suddenly have health care that had to be provided by the employer. Okay? The employer gets that money from the taxpayers, in this case, a public school, right? It would have increased our budget by about $4 million to cover the people that didn't have health insurance. So now I'm going to the taxpayer and saying, hey, guess what? These people here, they said that they would work for us based on these criteria, that we're paying them this much per hour, this, and this, and they agreed to not be given health insurance. And they said that that's fine. They signed up and are our employees, right? But the federal government has come along and said that that doesn't matter. That contract between you and the employee does not mean squat, and now you have to pay for their health insurance, okay? So our budget just went up $4 million. I need you guys to shovel it out. That's a big deal. Now, the hard part about that is people that, especially senior citizens that lived on fixed incomes, okay? And if you're living on a fixed income and your millage is being increased on your property taxes all the time to pay for these types of things, especially when it's not the fault of anyone in the district, it's federally mandated at this point, that becomes harder and harder for them to actually sustain a livable environment for them as elderly people on a fixed income. On top of that, there's plenty of people that have no kids in school anymore, right? That are paying this tax. So this saves those people as well. Now, those are some really great points that weren't made public by WFMZ or other articles that I read in regards to this being a really good outcome for eliminating the property tax, as long as you substitute another tax to increase the revenue. I believe personally, and I don't know this for sure, but I believe that a 2 to 4% increase in the sales tax would actually exceed what was being given to the schools in the first place. I don't know that for sure, especially once you start giving incentives to businesses and stuff, that it could actually foster that into more money for the students. First of all, on top of that, I know I'm going rambling on.
No, it's
good information. It's proven now in horrible school districts like Maryland and Detroit that throwing money at it from a federal level does not fix the problems. It is not going to fix the problems. Hasn't fixed the problems. Okay, so even though it involves the allocation of more money towards the public education sector, does not mean that education is going to get better. That I think is great. Even if we just end right there, that is fantastic. But I think it can go further, of course. Once we reach that stage, I personally believe that you should be able to take that allocation per student and give it in vouchers, where the students and families can pick the schools that they go to based on where they feel they would be best be able to excel as a student. Okay? That does two things. It takes the money out of the public schools that are doing bad, okay? Which, that's tough luck. Sorry, but guess what? You need to do what leads to number two. You need to start competing and doing a better job of educating our kids, okay? And if you're not going to do that, the students aren't going to go to that school. And if they're not going to that school, that says something about your education level. So I think it's a huge benefit.
I mean, just having the choice is super important and valuable, because I mean, even with our kids, where we live, we were in the district of an elementary school that was a failing school. So luckily we were able to do open enrollment, and I got them into it's either the first or second in the district school. So that just takes that kind of idea to another level of being able to really choose whatever school you want to go to, you know.
Now that opens up the question from the left, of course, usually, that there's only a finite number of seats in a school. Right? So you have to hold basically a lottery. Almost,
someone's going to have to go to the
crappy
schools.
You know, it's a first come, first served basis, I believe. You know, or these students were going there first. If they want to stay, they're able to stay. Then the seats that open up as a lottery type system, or however you want to do that. You know, but listen, I have friends that are more conservative on fiscal issues and liberal on social issues that have argued with me that say, you know, I live in a school district that has higher property taxes, and it keeps our schools better because it keeps the people that can't afford that and cause problem at lower income area schools from getting into those neighborhoods and everything. I completely understand that. Honestly, I don't have a solution for that. There's smarter people than me that can figure this stuff out. But let me tell you something. I think on an individual basis, I don't care. It comes down to my children and their education and what they're getting. I really don't care about what's going on in your school district and the people that move in and everything. You know, this becomes a busing issue too. I don't know if this is a statewide or nationwide thing, but I believe for our school district, last I learned, that as long as a school district is within like 10 miles outside of the school district's range that it covers, that the school district is responsible for busing individuals within that area to those schools outside the area. So
that's one thing with the open enrollment is that Jackson can't take the bus ever. We have to drive him, you know, because the buses only go to the school.
But you made that choice.
Hey,
if these people are all about choice.
I know.
Right there. That's choice.